A plane is forced to make an emergency landing in Henry County, and just as the pilot and a passenger get out, the plane goes up in flames.
The I-Team showed you the incredible pictures. Children creating havoc on Metro Atlanta school buses. Tonight, are cameras on board really cutting down the bad behavior on the bus?
And we delve deeper into the cancer that affects thousands of women each year, detailing a simple plan of action that could save your life.
Fox 5 Atlanta. Your 6 o'clock news. Fox 5 News starts now.
Good evening, I'm Russ Spencer.
And I'm Amanda Davis. A small plane bursts into flames after an emergency landing in Henry County.
Fortunately, the 2 people on board survived the crash and got out before the fire spread. It happened on a runway at Tara Field. That's an airstrip operated by Clayton County near the Atlanta Motor Speedway.
Fox 5's Sharon Crowley is on the scene right now with more. Sharon.
Well, we have some new information that I just learned from the Henry County Police Department. They believe the pilot and the co-pilot that he was with were able to get out of the plane safely because it did not ignite immediately. The plane crashed down and they were able to get out safely, and then it apparently burst into flames. Now, all this unfolded just about a couple of hours ago. This afternoon, a pilot tried to land a twin-engine prop plane at Clayton County's Tara Field Airport located in Henry County. But something went terribly wrong. The landing gear didn't come down, sending the plane crashing into the runway where it burst into flames. Somehow the pilot and his co-pilot got out safely.
He attempted to land the plane without the landing gear, and it actually caught on fire after it hit the runway.
Pilot Robert West and an FAA check airman were doing a check ride when the plane went down.
We don't know if it malfunctioned this time or not. We know it did not come out.
Investigators still don't know why the landing gear failed to deploy. Aviation officials are on the scene investigating. We are back here live at the airfield, and you can see they are hosing off the runway. Still a lot of emergency vehicles out there. We are told by police that a federal aviation investigator is out here trying to figure out exactly what happened here and why that landing gear did not come down. But of course, the good news to report tonight, the pilot and the co-pilot were able to get out safely. Reporting live from Henry County, Sharon Crowley, Fox 5 News.
All right, Sharon, thank you.
Another developing story at this hour, a shakeup at the top of Fulton County government. The county commission is making some changes after news of a big shortfall in the 1999 budget. Fox 5's Roy Hobbs is in the newsroom now with the latest. Roy?
Well, Russ, the Fulton County Commission is firing Fulton County Manager Bob Regis and Webster Pope, the chairman of the County Tax Assessors Board. Now, Pope had come under fire from Commission Chairman Mitch Scandalakis for big increases in property valuations earlier this year. Today's action follows word of a projected budget shortfall of $85 million for next year. The commission also voted to dismiss the other 2 members of the Board of Tax Assessors. Fulton commissioners say they don't want to raise taxes and have scheduled 2 more work sessions to find places to trim the budget. There has been no comment from either Mr. Regis or Mr. Pope, and the firings become effective next month. Russ?
Some suggestions that the arts and Grady Hospital may take some of those hits, but property taxes, we're going to have to watch that one. Roy, thanks very much. All right.
Tonight, Atlanta police are looking for the carjackers who brutally attacked a woman this morning in southeast Atlanta and stole her car. Police say just minutes before that, the very same suspects robbed a check cashing store and beat up the clerk inside the store. Fox 5's Jay Ariano is in downtown Atlanta right now, where police are anxious to get these dangerous carjackers off the streets. Jay.
It's a story of 2 women tonight. One woman who survived the carjacking, feared for her life, thought she was going to die. At the same time, another woman inside a check cashing store was beaten while the store was robbed. At the same time, police are looking for at least 2 suspects who they think may be responsible for both attacks.
I didn't see no gun, but he was reaching for a gun with one hand and had the other hand on the car door.
This woman, who doesn't want to be identified, survived a brutal carjacking this morning. Her name is Essie. The 63-year-old woman was visiting a friend in southeast Atlanta when she became a victim. According to people who didn't want to go on camera, this is what happened. The 2 men robbed this check cashing store, and then they left, but didn't realize they had left their car keys inside and could not get back in. So apparently ran around the side of the gas station and stole a car.
Just pulled me out the car, and I stumbled, but I didn't fall.
Essie's arm is very sore, as is her leg, and she is still shaking. But she says she has her life. Back at the scene at Lakewood Avenue and Shady Dale Road, inside the check cashing store, the woman behind the counter wasn't as lucky as Essie. Police think the same men who carjacked Essie just moments before beat and robbed the store attendant. After the safe was opened, she was tied up. The men fled, possibly leaving their car and taking Essie's.
I'm thankful that they didn't do nothing to me. I'm so thankful. I just cried because when I see them bring the lady out, then I cried because I said that could have been me and I would have been in worse shape, because by her being a younger person, I probably couldn't have taken what she took.
On the windows of the check cashing store, it advertises security cameras inside. Essie hopes those cameras were on and recording and can help police find the men who scared her so much, she says she may never drive alone again. Now, tonight, Atlanta police are searching for at least 2 black male suspects in their 30s, one wearing a gold and blue athletic suit, the other wearing a blue, and they are also searching for that woman, Essie's car. We can tell you what that car looks like right now. It is a 1986 Ford Mercury Grand Marquis, 4-door, dark blue in color, and it has the Georgia license plate of 923 MPW. It was stolen from that scene. If you have seen the car or know who was responsible for those crimes, call Atlanta Police. Reporting live downtown, Jay Ariano, Fox 5 News.
Here's hoping police get some helpful tips. Thank you, Jay.
Breaking news tonight in the trial of a woman accused of plotting her husband's murder. A Gwinnett County jury has just returned a verdict in the death penalty trial of Kelly Gissendanner. Fox 5's Melissa Jew is at the courthouse now with the new developments for us. Melissa?
Russ, the jury issued its verdict just a few minutes ago. They found Kelly Gissendanner guilty of malice murder and guilty of felony murder. The verdict came down just after 3 hours of deliberations. That comes as somewhat of a surprise among reporters and people watching this case over the last 5 days. Earlier today, jury members listened to both sides in this case during closing arguments.
This lady right here is the one that's been charged with murdering her husband.
Prosecutors say 29-year-old Kelly Gissendanner was motivated by greed when she planned the murder of her husband.
She set in motion a plan to kill her husband for the house, for the insurance, and just plain to have him out of the way.
Gregory Owen, Kelly Gissendanner's former boyfriend, confessed to stabbing Doug Gissendanner to death. He testified the defendant planned the murder. But Kelly Gissendanner's attorneys say Owen's testimony doesn't hold up.
Owen confronted Douglas Gissendanner in his home with a knife. That house would have been all torn up. Douglas Gissendanner would not have simply gone out that door with Owen.
In closing arguments, prosecutors reminded the jury of Kelly Gissendanner's confession.
Shortly after the defendant's arrest, she called her friend, Pam, and basically said, I did it. I did it.
We now have a verdict in this case issued just a few minutes ago. Kelly Gissendanner found guilty of malice murder, guilty of felony murder. Now the sentencing phase of this trial begins. Kelly Gissendanner could face the death penalty. We are live in Gwinnett County tonight. Melissa Jew, Fox 5 News.
Melissa, thanks very much.
A grand jury has indicted 2 people for the August murder of a man in Walton County. Patrick Reagan was gunned down in Walton County as he drove his car. Kendra Durden of Covington and Robert Wingfield of Hancock County face murder charges, attempted armed robbery, and aggravated assault charges as well. Officers say the pair decided to rob Reagan in his car after seeing him pay for groceries with a large bill at a Conyers supermarket. The FBI says a man who was making a career out of robbing metro area banks has struck again. This time, the robber held up the nation's bank branch on Roswell Road in Alpharetta. It happened around 11:30 this morning. No one was hurt, and the suspect remains at large. The FBI says this man has been robbing banks in the Atlanta area for more than a year and a half. A good story about kids. Would you know what to do if you saw someone who just collapsed on the ground? Well, 3 students from Jolly Elementary in DeKalb County did, and today a 90-year-old man is still alive thanks to their quick thinking. Fox 5's Ken McLeod has the story from DeKalb County. Ken.
Yeah, Amanda, Kevin, Eric, and AJ usually go this way when they walk home from school, but yesterday they had football practice, so they went that way down Norman Road, and that's a good thing because there was an elderly man down there who had fallen down in his driveway. He couldn't get up, and he needed their help. 90-year-old Tom Wicker got to say thanks to a couple of young brothers and their cousin this afternoon, 24 hours after they bailed him out of a bad situation.
You're down, can't get up. You appreciate somebody coming and get you up, you know that.
12-year-old Kevin Barnett, his 8-year-old brother Eric, and their 9-year-old cousin A.J. Howie had just left Jolly Elementary School yesterday, heading for football practice along Norman Road, when they spotted trouble.
He fell right here.
There, lying in his driveway, they saw an elderly man, bruised and bleeding. He'd been on his way out to get the mail when a dizzy spell took him down.
He was saying, help, help. He was screaming it, and he looked kind of hurt.
Not strong enough to get Mr. Wicker up, the boys went door to door seeking help. But when they found no neighbors home, they knew they had to try something else.
Thought about, what if my grandpa was there? I would want somebody to do the same thing to him.
And so the boys waved down a car, and the driver called 911 with his cell phone.
I sure appreciate it, too. I told them yesterday I did. And they stayed right here till the ambulance came.
I feel good because I helped somebody. You should be nice to people, because then if you be nice to them, they might be nice to you back. Treat someone how you want to be treated.
And today, each youngster got a red paw on the wall at Jolly Elementary as a tribute to their special effort.
So we were proud of these fellas and wanted them to be recognized by the rest of the student body for the good deed that they did.
Tom Wicker told me he's been taking some medication for those dizzy spells. Obviously, it didn't work too well yesterday, but other than his bruised up hand and that cut you saw under his eye, he's going to be just fine. Reporting live from DeKalb County, Ken McLeod for Fox 5 News.
And we all can share in the pride the parents must be feeling for their sons.
Absolutely.
Thanks a lot, Ken.
Good boys. There's much more to come tonight on Fox 5 News at 6. First, a follow-up to an I-Team exclusive we first told you about last night.
I'm I-Team reporter Randy Travis. It makes no difference whether your child is sitting in the middle of the bus, or way back here on the last row, or even up here in the front. The camera never blinks. So is this technology making students better behaved on the bus? We take a look next.
Also tonight, information you need to know that could save the life of your spouse, sister, or daughter. Reducing the risks of breast cancer, a Fox 5 special report.
And later, an emotional goodbye for 3 children who lost their lives in a fire.
Fox 5 News at 6. Amanda Davis, Russ Spencer, Chief Meteorologist Ken Cook, Jeff Hollinger with sports. Your 6 o'clock news. Fox 5 News.
If you see news happening, call the Fox 5 newsroom. Just dial *5 on your Bell South Mobility cell phone. The call is free.
Fires, fistfights, and absolutely no respect for the driver. It's no wonder that metro school districts desperately need bus drivers. Just watch the school bus tapes and you'll understand. I-Team reporter Randy Travis returns with more shocking scenes that you won't see anywhere else.
Russ, these tapes are all from DeKalb County, the only district so far to comply with our open records request. But almost every metro school bus administrator agrees they want more video cameras for their buses. They know when drivers make as little as $11,000 a year, some need an extra incentive to stay behind the wheel. So you think your job's a headache?
Hey, no pushing, don't push.
Hey, keep your hands to yourself.
Is your commute driving you crazy? Look on the bright side. You could be seeing this in your rearview mirror.
I've even had some threats at one time, but that was taken care of through the camera.
These days, video cameras help drivers maintain order and safety on some of Metro Atlanta's scariest school bus routes. In fact, 15 of the 17 metro school districts now use cameras on at least some of their buses, catching bad behavior on tape with just a flick of a switch.
You hit the switch and the light come on. When that light's on, the camera technically is live.
In DeKalb County, the cameras can cost as much as $1,000 installed. One reason the district only has enough to cover 15% of their nearly 1,000 buses.
So I knew they were up to something, I just didn't know what.
Frida Parker switched on her camera one afternoon because she wasn't sure what was happening in the back of her bus. Turns out, someone left her a surprise. Did any of these kids tell you that your bus was on fire?
None of them.
Y'all start that button, you know
you gonna be off the bus? You gonna be off the bus?
1 out of every 5 bus drivers in DeKalb County will quit each year, citing lack of discipline on the bus as one of their biggest complaints. That's why DeKalb, like a lot of other counties, is hoping to add more cameras to its fleet to give drivers a third eye so they can keep their eyes on the road.
But that third eye constantly on you, then you know Johnny takes a second thought before he does something.
With videotape evidence, drivers say it's a lot easier to convince parents their child broke the rules and deserves to be punished.
Well, the parents just dropped their head mostly. They can't believe it was their child.
Getting chronic troublemakers off the bus may be easier, but what about the rest of the students? Have cameras made a noticeable difference in the way bus riders behave? Stone Mountain Middle School 6th grader Sean Hutton can think of a lot of things he'd rather do than ride bus 821. He always sits near the front of his bus, away from the kids who constantly fight in the back. Last week, his frustrated driver asked the district for help.
He put a camera on the bus, and it don't work, they still fight. He even tell them that they got a camera on the bus, but they don't listen.
So it's not making any difference as far as those kids are concerned? Despite that, he thinks every bus that carries middle or high school students should be equipped with a camera. The latest attempt in Metro Atlanta to turn those wild rides into mild rides, the kind any bus driver would love to see in their rearview mirror. Now, not one school district could offer us statistical information showing a drop in disciplinary action since they put cameras on buses. But administrators say they still believe cameras make a difference. That's why in some counties, every new bus they buy now will have a camera already installed.
It really is shocking, actually, to see those kids acting up that way when they know that the camera is rolling.
It's not hidden. It's right there for them to see.
Right, with the sign and the whole thing.
Exactly.
Now, you said that 15 of the 17 school districts in Metro Atlanta actually have the cameras on the buses. What are the 2 that don't, and why don't they?
Well, you know, a lot of those districts used lottery money several years ago to start buying cameras on buses. They can't do that anymore. But the ones that don't use cameras are the city of Decatur and Gwinnett County, a huge school district, one of the largest in the state. Gwinnett says that they just don't think cameras are necessary. They'd rather focus their attention on training. DeKalb, of course, has taken it one step further, though. They stress training, but they also use the videotapes in their training to make sure their trainees go into this job with their eyes open.
You showed us those shocked faces of the trainees when they saw what they're getting up against. Thanks, Randy.
All right, we made it to the middle of the work week. Let's check in with Keith Callan to see how the ride home is going. Keith.
I'm up here shaking my head looking at some of that video from a school bus. I wonder where road rage comes from. This is a harbinger of things to come. This is Pleasant Hill Road heading towards Gwinnett Place Mall. We're not even at Thanksgiving yet, and already crowds are coalescing around all the malls around Metro Atlanta. And just a reminder, the day after Thanksgiving, what we call the Shopper Chopper will be up during Good Day Atlanta and the news to show you where and when you can go shopping the day after Thanksgiving, which of course is a recreational sport in this city. 400 southbound, watch out for some delays if you're heading towards 285. There is a wreck off to the right there. I'm Keith Callan, Fox 5 Time Saver Traffic.
All right, thanks a lot, Keith.
And still to come on Fox 5 News at 6, some people think they aren't at risk and will never get it, but breast cancer can affect even the healthiest women.
Coming up in a Fox 5 special report, I'll tell you about the steps you should take to reduce the risks of breast cancer.
Fox 5 News is brought to you in part by Lexus.
It could be your mother, sister, your wife, or daughter. 1 in every 9 women will develop breast cancer in her lifetime. But thanks to early detection and treatment, a diagnosis of breast cancer isn't the death sentence that many women fear. Amanda details a simple plan of action for breast health in her special report, Breast Cancer Reducing the Risks. Amanda?
4,000 new cases of breast cancer were diagnosed in Georgia last year. The good news is the earlier cancer is found, the better the chance for survival. That means breast self-exam, clinical breast exam, and a mammogram. It's a commitment for life.
Okay, let's go. Ready? Ring. Okay.
The time has come. After so many years, too many to remember, 77-year-old Louise Foman is going to get a mammogram.
I've always been afraid because my aunt died with cancer and I looked at her suffer.
Right this way, ma'am. Okay.
But today, this great-grandmother is putting her fear aside and trying to right a wrong as well. You see, by her own admission, Miss Louise has lied to her doctor for years, telling him she was having regular mammograms.
And he wanted proof. He used me time he come bring me proof. And where was I going to get it? Because I was lying to him. I didn't have any proof.
Miss Louise is not alone in her fear of mammograms. Doctors say it's a fear of the unknown.
Of not knowing what to expect, not know what's going to happen to them. And I think that there's also obviously denial. Women may know they have a problem and they're just afraid to find out what it is.
Breasts are comprised of fatty tissue, fibrous supportive tissue, milk glands, and milk ducts. That's why breasts can feel lumpy. But what's important for you to know is that not all lumps are cancerous.
It's the rare person that turns out to have a breast cancer or something we need to be concerned about treating.
Basically what's going to happen is I'm going to take some pictures of your breast.
That's all a mammogram is, a picture or x-ray of the breast. In order to get that picture, the breast is compressed, which can be uncomfortable. The flatter or thinner the breast, the better the picture and less radiation is needed. Doctors say don't worry about that radiation. It's a low dose whose benefits far outweigh any risk.
That wasn't bad, was it?
The doctor goes ahead and immediately reads Miss Louise's mammograms, just for us. Typically, a woman would get results a few days later. While Miss Louise waits for her results, let's go over the American Cancer Society's recommended guidelines for mammography. A woman should have her first or baseline mammogram between the ages of 35 and 40. After age 40, a woman should have a mammogram every year. It's a quick and easy screening tool that can save your life. Carol Stillerman is living proof.
I think it's very much taught me to appreciate my life, to appreciate my family.
When Stillerman was 40, her first mammogram was fine. When she went back for her second one, 5 years later, her doctor spotted cancer cells.
I said to him, I said, well, now, if this were your wife, what would you have her do? He said, I would recommend a mastectomy. So I said, well, let's go forward with this.
That was 7 years ago. Stillerman is cancer-free today.
So the mammogram was truly what was so wonderful for me to have.
And what about Miss Louise? Age is the biggest risk factor for breast cancer. Remember, she's 77 and hasn't had a mammogram in decades.
Okay. The doctor just look at your films and everything's okay.
Oh, wonderful.
And you will come back next year.
I will.
You promise me?
I promise.
Okay.
What a relief. And for Miss Louise, there's that added plus.
I won't have to lie to my doctor no more.
Breast cancer can take many years to become large enough to feel by hand. By then, it could be the size of a marble. A mammogram can pick it up even sooner while it's as tiny as a grain of rice. But mammograms aren't perfect. That's why breast self-exam is so important. We'll show you the correct way to do it when my special report continues, Breast Cancer Reducing the Risks. We'll be right back. The best defense against breast cancer is early detection. As we've seen, mammograms are a great screening tool, but they don't catch all cancers. In fact, doctors say more often women find their own lumps or notice changes in the breast through self-exam. It only takes minutes each month, minutes that could mean the difference between life and death.
Signing on that last line there.
This is a familiar place for Emma Smith, outpatient services at Georgia Baptist Medical Center as a volunteer with Women's Health Enterprise. Emma educates women about the importance of breast health, which includes regular mammograms. Oftentimes that means Emma is right there with them from start to finish.
And then I'm going to be right out here waiting for you, okay? I'm supposed to pick her up today and take her to the Sheffield Clinic for a mammogram.
At the age of 57, Emma calls this her life's calling, a call that came after her own brush with breast cancer.
I thought I was going to die. I actually thought I was going to die.
It was during a regular monthly self-examination of her breasts that Emma noticed something different.
I didn't only look for a lump. I always remember, you know, just to look at the changes that your body might go through. And I found the discharge and I found the peeling.
According to the American Cancer Society, mammograms are the best way to check for breast cancer. But it's only one step in a three-step approach to breast health. Secondly, it's recommended women have an annual breast exam by their physician. And thirdly, just as important, do their own monthly self-exam. Doctors say most often it's the woman who finds her own lump or notices a change in the breast through self-exam. It's a simple procedure that only takes a few minutes each month. There are two parts to self-exam: looking and feeling. First, stand in front of a mirror, look at the size and shape of the breasts, look at the texture and color of the skin, look for changes in the nipples. Do it with your arms above your head and down by your side. Then lie down and place a pillow under your shoulder. Put your hand behind your head and with the opposite hand, begin feeling your breast. Using the pads of 3 fingers, make 3 dime-sized circles. 1 lightly, then deeper, and 1 deeper still. This allows you to check the full thickness of the breast. You want to cover the area from your armpit to the breastbone, from the collarbone to the bra line. Don't lift your fingers, just move over, going up and down over the breast area in strips. Be sure and check the armpit, then switch sides.
I still believe that women absolutely have to be responsible for their own bodies. They need to do their own exams, and if they find something, even if they're not sure what it is, or the fact that they have a change, they need to pursue that until they're satisfied that they have an answer and that things are resolved.
Dr. Stiblow says it's important to remember most lumps are not cancerous, but the only way to know for sure is to follow up with your doctor. Emma didn't do that right away. She waited 6 months.
I just kept saying, well, it's not me. It's not me. And then finally, you know, it dawned on me, listen, you know, you're taking a chance with your life. And as I said, it had already started to spread. So God is good. He's good.
Emma is happy to be alive. By the time she went to the doctor, her cancer had spread, but a mastectomy followed by chemotherapy and radiation treatment saved her life. That was 9 years ago. It's important to know if cancer is found and found early, treatment is very effective. That's why we can't stress enough the importance of early detection, and that means mammograms, self-exam, and an annual breast exam by your physician.
Wow. Well, 2 signs of hope there in your story. One woman 7 years after the fact, another 9 years, still doing fine. Now, you mentioned that the baseline time to get your mammogram is between 35 and 40. How about the self-examination? When should women begin that?
Definitely. Well, we have a lot of young women, and you should begin that self-exam at the age of 20. Between the ages of 20 and 39, the American Cancer Society recommends that women have their doctor do a breast exam every 3 years, and then after age 40, because your chance of breast cancer increases with age, have a doctor do it for you every year. And remember, again, that risk increases with age, and this is a commitment for life. And Russ, I want to take just a moment to thank the American Cancer Society for all their help in doing this story.
A lot of life-saving information in that report.
Definitely, it begins there.
Thanks. Let's turn to Ken Cook now in the Forecast Center. Another beautiful day today, Ken.
Russ, Amanda, it certainly was a beautiful day to be out. I want to say hello to all the folks out at Mount Vernon Towers in Sandy Springs. I was there for the monthly men's club meeting, met some ladies there as well. Enjoyed the meeting with you today. All right, temperatures now starting to come down in the northern part of the state, already in the 50s at Athens, low 60s here in Rome, mid-60s in central Georgia, still to the low 70s across the southern part of the state. Now, we do have an approaching frontal system, which will arrive here, I think, Friday morning. In the meantime, clouds will be on the increase, especially later tonight, and then especially tomorrow night into Friday morning, and that's when we'll have our best chance of rain then. In the meantime, low clouds are starting to increase in the lower Mississippi Valley, and I think we'll see some evidence of that already by tomorrow morning. Now, temperatures across the east and the south are ranging out of the chilly 40s in New England into the 60s or even 70s as you come across the Gulf Coast states, and then cool once again as you move up toward Omaha. And that's where the cold front is starting to cut into this warm air. The moisture is still pretty limited across the central and southern part of the country, but it is starting to bow up. This is our dew point map showing how much moisture there is in the air, and it's starting to bow up ahead of the cold front now, so some moisture is starting to stream northward into Iowa and Missouri. So we might expect a few more showers to start developing in this area, although there aren't any in there right now. Let's show you what's going on outside in the Atlanta area now. At 6 o'clock, we have partly cloudy skies and 62. The dew point is at 48. The humidity is at 60%. The wind was out of the east at 6, and our barometer was rising. Today's high temperature reached 67. The low was 46. That's 5 above average. Sun will be coming up at 7:12 and going down at 5:33 tomorrow. Well, here you see another beautiful fall scene from James Huddleston of Carrollton, Georgia. And that is a ginkgo tree. That is a big one. A lot of times you see them planted at new developments, but this one must have been there now maybe 50 years already. All right, let's show you what's going on now around the whole country. Here we see snow, mixture, and rain developing across the northern tier of states during the last 12 hours as the system. It's gaining more moisture. We're seeing the rain developing further south across Wisconsin, now into Illinois. Perhaps later this evening we'll see it develop down into Missouri, perhaps even into Arkansas as more moisture feeds into the system. A few showers also in southern sections of Florida and a few sprinkles, maybe light snow flurries over the mountain areas. Now this map, this is the computer estimate of how much precipitation over the next couple of days. The green areas would be more than a quarter inch, and the dark green areas would be up to an inch. And so it looks like our best chance of rain is going to develop in the southeast here come late Thursday night and into Friday morning, with some amounts potentially up to a ½ inch, although I think most amounts will be less than that. Highs tomorrow on the cool side across the north central states, only in the 30s or 40s. The mountains generally in the 40s. The desert southwest in the 70s. New England tomorrow warming up only into the 40s. Then Washington at 56 will be near 70 or in the 60s here with some big 80s, Miami and Brownsville. Now on our weather map tomorrow, we're going to see the frontal system moving into the Ohio Valley and down through the lower Mississippi Valley. Looks like our rain area will begin stretching a little bit further and further south in time with more moisture moving into the system. It looks like our best chance of rain will be tomorrow night into Friday morning and already starting to clear out by Friday afternoon. It looks like that sets us up then for a good weekend. Once the frontal system is by, the high pressure builds in, the drier air moves in as well. So for tonight, partly cloudy and cool, 48 to 53 degrees. In the morning, mostly cloudy as the low clouds work in, 50 to 55. In the afternoon, partly cloudy and mild, 63 to 67. Then we'll see more clouds rolling in tomorrow night. Chance of rain already overnight into Friday morning, then clearing, then cooler by Sunday and Monday mornings into the 30s and highs up around 60 degrees. We'll be back with another look at our forecast coming up in a few minutes. We'll see you then.
Ken, thanks. It was just a week ago tonight that a Northwest Atlanta family lost 3 children to fire. Tonight, the cause of that fire is still unknown, but the community is coming together to say goodbye. Fox 5's Angeline Correa has more on this emotionally draining day.
It's a painful loss for any family, but for these parents, their grief is tripled.
God took them back home, and that's painful. And there is no way under heaven to minimize that pain.
All 3 children died in an overnight house fire last week. 7-year-old Jerry Riggins Jr., 5-year-old Talia Riggins, and 3-month-old Tresamine Sellers. Their father, still suffering from his burn wounds, said a quiet thank you to the community. Their children's mother shared a poem.
My babies are gone. They're gone away. In heaven is where they're at. They're playing with the angels. We love them, but God loved them more. Junior, Teal, Tresamine, we love you, babies.
Also attending the service, members of the Atlanta Fire Department, including those who were on the scene that tragic night, and the city mayor.
I don't know if there's been a sadder day in our city in recent memory.
Last Wednesday was a very difficult night for all of us, but of course for the family it's much worse, so we felt like by being here we could give them some small comfort.
And because of these 3 children, many other lives were touched.
In Northwest Atlanta, Angeline Correa, Fox 5 News.
Now, many in the community have already come forward to help the Riggins family with some of the funeral expenses, including professional boxer Mike Tyson. If you would like to contribute to the Riggins Family Memorial Fund, you can drop off a donation at any Atlanta area Nations Bank location.
Stay with us. There's still much more ahead on Fox 5 News at 6, including the update on the Beetle contest. One contestant has checked out of the car. We'll give you an update.
All right, he's a landscaper, an entrepreneur, bartender, but all of that has been put on the back burner for a chance to win a free car.
Kevin Danley is the Beetle car contestant we're talking to today on day 23 of this never-ending journey. Kevin, you've got to feel pretty good. One less contestant to worry about.
Yes, Amanda, I do. Now we're down to the final four. We lost Brenda today, but she got a real good deal. She got $2,000 in cash and a week's trip to Walt Disney World and airline tickets round trip and deluxe accommodations at the Hyatt Regency and tickets and passes for Walt Disney World. So she's going to have a good time out there with her family, I'm sure.
Boy, her kids and her husband have to be happy that she's home. I got to ask you, though, Kevin, don't you think that Sanja has a leg up on the rest of you three guys now that she's sort of chilling in that other car all by herself?
Yeah, I think she's got three dummies in there now with her. They, some blow-up people, and I think all the women are going to take her side now because she's the only female in the contest now, so she's tough enough as it is, so it's going to be real tough now with her, I think.
Is there anything other than the car that'll get you out of the car?
Probably about $20,000.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, well, enough to buy the car with a few nice accessories. You're a very generous guy. Oh, that's funny.
Get comfortable. Kevin will be checking in with you again. Thanks a lot.
Good luck. And still ahead on Fox 5 News at 6, say goodbye to the sunshine.
Looks like gray clouds are rolling in. We'll have a check of the forecast when we come back.
Fox 5 News is brought to you in part by the Chattanooga Visitors Bureau.
Another pretty nice day.
But all good things must come to an end, says Ken Cook. Ken?
You're right, guys, especially this time of the year. You get a couple of good days, maybe sneak in 3 in a row, and then changes come because that's how fast these weather systems are moving along. And that's the situation now. Temperatures still on the mild side, coming down, but still in the 60s here, 70s further west in Texas, 70s further south in Florida, but chilly up in the northeast. The last of that cool high pressure still has to move over the northeast, and then the next system's coming along, so we see where the weather map gets back in the blue again, 40s and 30s back on the central and upper plains, and that is moving to the southeast. Now, the cloud pattern is not that impressive along the cold front because the moisture is just not moving into it. Now, that's going to start changing later tonight and tomorrow, so we'll see a bigger, more pronounced cloud pattern, if you will. We do see the rain in Wisconsin and snow further north than that, but the rain does not extend very far to the south, and I think that area will grow over the next 24 hours. Now, on the big weather map, if you will, it looks like this. Here we see our spiraling low-pressure area over Minnesota. That will be moving mostly into Canada, taking the snow northward. Then the rain follows up from the south as the warm air is moving into the picture. And then there's just a scattering of clouds over the northwest, so there's no major storm following immediately behind that. Now, right now we see cold temperatures on the upper plains, but still very mild across the south and warm, as a matter of fact, for Florida and also for Texas. With tomorrow's highs then, chilly in the western Great Lakes region and the upper Midwest, only in the 20s and 30s, but we stay very comfortable here in the south in the 70s or even some places in the 80s. We'll come back with the rest of the 5-day forecast and have it for you in just a few minutes.
Ken, thanks.
Coming up next on Fox 5, the division-leading Atlanta Falcons get ready for the Bears.
Sounds good. Jeff Pellinger with details. Next in sports.
The division-leading Falcons, they could use a sellout again, huh?
Yeah, they could. I don't know if it's going to happen. It is looking like it's going to be very tough. Falcons sold about 3,000 tickets today for Sunday's game against the Bears, so that means about 12,000 have got to be sold tomorrow, or the NFL will impose its blackout of the game. Regardless, Jeff Van Note and I will have the broadcast for you on radio along the Falcons radio network. Today, Tim Dwight and Jamal Anderson trying to get themselves ready. Tim Dwight certainly injured his knee against the Jets in that game in the Meadowlands a few weeks ago, but he's looking much better, expected to go on Sunday against Chicago. Jamal Anderson's ankle a little bit tender, nothing too serious or severe.
How's your foot, ankle?
What are you talking about?
You're injured,
I'm
man.
fine. I'm just milking it so I can just run out the tunnel on Sunday. I'm all right, though. Swelling is down a lot. I feel pretty good today. I might go out and practice. I don't know. They want me to probably rest it. And so I'm just going to take it one day at a time, but I'll be ready to roll by Sunday. It went pretty good today. We're taking small steps. We're getting back, and it's just I hope I can come back on the field and help us do some things.
That's one small step for Jamal and Tim, one giant step for the Atlanta Falcons. The accolades, national exposure, and honors keep rolling in for the Falcons. Second week in a row, the NFC Defensive Player of the Week wears those black uniforms. We're talking about the man they call Big Play, Ray Buchanan. What an exciting play this was as he steps up, makes the interception here, and watch him go on the return. Takes it to the near side, then he cuts it back inside, looking for some room, looking for a block, and almost gets in.
I mean, a lot of players on this football team, I mean, they could have picked any one of us, I think. Unfortunately, of course, it was me this week. It was my turn, but everybody's been, contributing, on this football team. It's a great thing. It's a great thing for this football team also.
And our schedule here on Fox 5 goes this way. I'll have the Dan Reeves Show for you Saturday at 6:30. Sunday, it's the NFL on Fox, 1 o'clock, looking like the Vikings and the Packers, unless somebody has a hankering for about 12,000 tickets tomorrow. And, of course, at 6 o'clock, Fox 5 News. Ken Rodriguez will have your complete coverage along with Carla Moore. Tonight in the Georgia Dome, Lefty Driesell could win his 700th college basketball game. His Georgia State team takes on John Thompson and Georgetown at 7 o'clock. Lefty Driesell has been around a long time coaching, and certainly it's a nice second win for him at Georgia State.
Well, I should have scheduled an easier game, But, no, I think it's going to be a great game. We're playing in the Georgia Dome, and hopefully we'll get a lot of people out there. And it'd be nice to win my 700 game against Georgetown, but that's sort of a tall order. But we're going to get after them and see what happens.
Texas Ranger outfielder Juan Gonzalez is the American League's most valuable player. This is the second time in the last 3 years he has won the award. Gonzalez knocked in 157 runs, the highest total in the league in 49 years. He also hit 45 home runs, and he was unbelievable. He had a .318 batting average. Nomar Garcia-Parra was second in voting, but Juan Gonzalez is a load.
He earned it, all right.
What a stud.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thanks. And we'll be right back.
This broadcast of Fox 5 News at 5 and 6 can be viewed in its entirety from 7 to 9 p.m. on Media One News, Channel 33.
An update now on a breaking news story. A Gwinnett County jury has found Kelly Gissendanner guilty of murder.
Fox 5's Melissa Jew is in Gwinnett now with more.
Amanda, the jury deliberated for 3 hours before handing down a guilty verdict for Kelly Gissendanner, guilty of malice murder, guilty of felony murder. Here's what happened in the courtroom as the verdict was being read.
State of Georgia versus Kelly Renee Gissendanner as to count 1 of the indictment. We, the jury, found the defendant guilty of malice murder. As to count 2 of the indictment, we, the jury, found the defendant guilty of felony murder.
Now you can see family members of Doug Gissendanner in the courtroom. They have been here all week. The judge told everyone in the courtroom not to be emotional while the verdict was being read. Doug's mother right there sitting in the courtroom. She has been here every day. Also in the courtroom was his sister there, sitting there with a little red eye. She did react a little bit by crying. On the other side of the courtroom was Kelly's mother and relatives. They have all been here since day 1 as well. Tomorrow begins the sentencing phase of this trial. Kelly Gissendanner could face the death penalty. We are live in Gwinnett County. Melissa Jew, Fox 5 News.
All right, thank you, Melissa.
New tonight on Fox 5 News at 10. Critics say it's Atlanta's biggest literary splash since Gone with the Wind. But Tom Wolfe's latest novel has not received a warm reception from everyone here. Tonight, the author of A Man in Full visits the city, and hear from him tonight on Fox 5 News at 10.
And that's the news for now. For Jeff Hollinger, Ken Cook, and the rest of the Fox 5 News team, I'm Amanda Davis.
And I'm Russ Spencer. Thanks for making Fox 5 News your choice at 6. And join us tonight for Fox 5 News at 10. Extra is next.